it's not just the offensive line. It's also that Ben is done. So, like, if he's in the pocket and he's not under pressure, he's a QBR of 38. Which the league average.
In the pocket, not under pressure?
In the pocket, not under pressure, 38. And it's not just these first 2 games. That's including all the games from last season also. So,
and he's not throwing the ball down the field.
So he is the problem. The O-line is the problem. The defense is the only answer, but I'm not sure it's a big enough answer.
They're getting – to me, it looks like, Nick, the Steelers have gotten caught with their pants down a little bit. Like, last year was pretty clear it wasn't going to work.
Right.
But they ran it back.
Yeah. The tough thing, I think, for the Steelers is they are one of these organizations that never, like, are in a rebuild mode. And so they're never really thinking or it doesn't feel like they're ever really thinking for the future. And that, like, builds a culture of, like, aggression and toughness, and everyone buys in. But when you get caught, as you put it, with your pants down, then you're out there with a quarterback who's over the hill. Because when he got hurt a couple years ago, they still had that draft pick, and we all were thinking, like, oh, they're going to stink, and then they're going to go draft a quarterback.
But you know what the mindset that they went into it this year with me? Simple. We got a good defense. We got Devin Bush. We got Watt. We got Mika Fitzpatrick. We got Joe Hayden. We're good over here. We don't need a quarterback. We just need somebody that could just hold it all together. And they misjudged and miscalculated that part, because when you got to throw, the offensive line that they built in terms of push blocking, they got a back there, Najee Harris. They said to themselves, Pouncey's retiring. Villanueva's going to leave. We need to go heavy in the run game, but the run game has struggled for them, and they haven't been able to do it sustain it, so they decided to start throwing. Yeah. Now you put offensive lineman who wants to run block on their heels and pass block. Now it looks even worse to you, Jay, with your eyes when you look at Ben, because he can't get out his own way.
Yeah. I mean, they have a defense that you can win with a game manager, but they don't have an offense that is set up to manage the game. Because you got to run the ball to manage the game.
And if he has a 38 QBR with no pressure, they don't have a game manager.
Yeah, that's the point. That's what I'm saying. It's like, if they had a game manager, they would be good, but they don't have one.
That whole conversation in the offseason about Big Ben obviously being owed a lot of money, saying, hey, look, I'm going to take less. Essentially what happened is the Steelers are now being not rewarded for trying to provide, like, the last hurrah. It's like it's supposed to be the last stance for Big Ben. So what you're saying essentially is they should have at that moment said, you know what, Big Ben, we love you. Thank you for everything you've done for our organization, but we're going to move on. We're going to start younger, especially with the O-line, considering those options, right?
But they miscalculated it because, like me and Nick is saying, they thought coming in we got a defense that you can win with. So our quarterback could just be here, hand it off. We're going to run the ball because our offensive line is going to be built to push the pile. That's why we're going to get a big, strong dude like Najee Harris. But then if we get into trouble and we got to throw, we think Ben has enough experience to dink and dunk and do that. And then they get behind in games and they got to start throwing the ball.
But didn't we have evidence of that last year when they started off undefeated and then they went on this downward spiral where he had to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game? It was
but they ain't
pretty
they
big
not
book of work.
Question.
They're not anticipating him throwing 50 times, though, this year. But it's happened.
Question. Mason Rudolph ain't it. Do you think that there's a thought in Pittsburgh maybe Dwayne Haskins is the future? Because when I say caught with their pants down, they do not seem to have been serious about finding Roethlisberger's successor. This would have been the year, even if you thought Ben had a little left, this would have been the year to bring a dude in, let him learn, but they didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, Ben has been talking about, like, potentially retiring for a while, and they should have made a move then. But this is the other side, I guess. We're all super critical of the Packers for going to get Jordan Love. That didn't work out. But this is the other side of that. When you got a guy, because Aaron Rodgers was showing some decline. He was getting injured a lot. His seasons weren't as good as they had been in the past. And they're like, all right, well, it's time to move on. They went and got this guy, and then Aaron Rodgers was bothered by it. So now the Steelers did the other thing. They never really got a true backup or a true guy waiting in the wings that they could build behind, and it probably made Ben feel comfortable. And now they're caught with their pants down. Like you put it, they're caught in a situation where they're scrambling for Dwayne Haskins, who he ain't it. Like, I think we have enough evidence to realize that he's not going to be a starter in this league. And those other guys, the Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph, like that whole
Tomlin
era.
still won 8 games with those guys. He won 8 games.
Could this be that opportunity for Cam Newton?
Maybe.
I mean, Mike Tomlin, Cam Newton, considering that O-line, I mean, a guy that can do. I mean, what other options do you have?
I like Cam on
Steelers?
Pittsburgh.
I like Cam on Pittsburgh, too, with Mike Tomlin.
Cam also is another guy who I'm not sure how much he has left in the tank. You know, like I think Cam Newton, and I guess when you're looking at Ben Roethlisberger, you could look at Cam Newton and be like, hey, why not? Because Ben Roethlisberger doesn't have that running dynamic that Cam has, and he can't stand in the pocket like he used to. So they're in a tough situation offensively. They're going to have to try to really shorten these games and hope Watt can get a sack fumble every other week.
and they can't run the ball, so defenses are playing up, and they can't throw the ball down the field, so they have even less time to make these dink and dunk.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.